Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. It's been a little while since my last video. Life gets crazy, but I am back at it again and bringing you a really cool knife from kind of an up-and-coming knife maker, and that is Matt Degnan, and we are taking a look at the Kane 3.25. So we'll go through the normal format, specs, overall impressions, details, then I'll talk about Matt a little bit since most of you probably don't know him too well, but cool maker to follow, fairly new on the scene. He does have a knife in collaboration with Kaiser and another in the works, so it'll be really cool to keep an eye on him, but let's get into it. So ships with this pouch, looks like he might have made it himself, but you know, certainly a nice touch. And the knife itself, we're looking at a titanium frame lock flipper, as you can see, and blade length is about 3.25, handle length is about 4.7 inches. The width in the closed position goes from about 1.7 inches, 1.56 inches here at the flipper tab down to like 1.3 and tapers from there. Thickness in the pocket, not including the clip, is about 0.52 inches thick. And then this does weigh in at 5.9 ounces. So those are the specs for the most part. Does use an S30V blade. It does ride on ceramic ball bearings. And then it does have a flattened stainless steel detent ball as well. So I guess those are the specs for the most part. My overall impressions are that Matt Degnan is certainly someone to keep your eye on. He's only been making knives for a year and a half, but this thing is functionally is perfect. And we'll talk about him in a little bit, but that really is what he strives for, is users, functionally perfect knives, flipping action, smoothness. Everything is really dialed in, which is again really surprising for such a fairly new knife maker. This is a custom knife, and you know, not all custom knives are created equal. I think oftentimes in the knife community, people refer to custom knives as a designation of quality, when it really is just a build process. So, but this is a really well-built custom knife, just great functionality. So again, keep your eye on him. The functionality is there. I think that the aesthetic refinement, the details, those things will follow in the years to come. So anyways, yeah, I guess that's my overall impressions for the most part. This is just kind of a down and dirty user, really well made, great action, all those things that you would hope that a custom knife would have. So anyways, really happy to have this one. I did have the opportunity to speak to Matt at length about why he does what he does, his design appeal, the way his books are going to work, so we'll get into that in a little bit. But first, let's get into the details on this specific knife. So, as I mentioned, it is an S30V blade. It does have a really cool kind of harpoon here at the top, 3.25 inches with a choil. No jimping to speak of. But as far as the blade shape, the nice satin hollow grind, everything is fairly well done. He did leave a fairly rough satin or belt finish here on the primary bevel, because he does like kind of the hard use, dirty aesthetic. He wants knives that people will carry and use, and so that's why you'll see such a rough finish. If I can focus in here on the swedge, so you've got vertical striations here on the primary bevel. The swedge has kind of these horizontal or diagonal striations, and then the flats here have a stone-washed finish, a heavy stone wash that matches the blade here. So kind of nice tri-color finish, I suppose, on the main cutting edge. So really nice sharp edge, really nice hollow grind. Clean grind lines, as far as I can tell, both sides are pretty much exactly the same. So again, you know, just kind of surprising for someone who's been making knives for such a short period of time to execute it so well. And even if this design language or aesthetic doesn't appeal to you, I think anyone who actually gets their hands on ones will appreciate how well it is done, what he likes to do. So I do like it, but again, not everyone likes everything that everyone does. So yeah, Now we do have a flipper tab up top. No jimping to speak of. It does have a nice kind of wide purchase right here, so you don't necessarily need the jimping. Although, let's say you do buy a knife from him and it doesn't have some, that might be one of the things that he's willing to add to the knife for you. So, you know, if there's something you don't particularly like, he might make slight modifications. But again, we'll talk about his build process in a little bit. But it does, you can go down on the top to a push down. Nice action, or a light switch, which means you pull it just straight back. So both work really well. The ceramic detent, the ceramic ball bearings are quite smooth. So anyways, I guess that's it for the blade. Again, you do have a nice little choil here that is usable. So you can get your first finger up and then use kind of the back of the harpoon there to get in for some really fine detail work should you ever need to. Or if you're doing kind of pull cuts, you know, you can rest your finger back here on this flat portion. And it works well to do that too. So if I'm cutting down boxes, I typically grab my knives like this for pull cuts, so quite comfortable in that regard. Now we get to the handle. You do have essentially a convexed pivot here, custom pivot. I don't know who does these ones, has a torque connector at this side. But, you know, nice, clean, kind of flows with the aesthetic. You've got a stone-washed titanium handle here. If I had to describe it, for the most part it's fairly flat, but all the edges have been rounded, so it is comfortable in the hand. No sharp edges to speak of. Look at how nicely the tang of the blade is flush with the handles there. So in the hand, it's quite comfortable. You do have, again, a 3.25 inch blade, but the handle is 4.7. Matt's a fairly large guy. He's about 6'2" with extra large hands. I also have extra large hands, and I'm about the same size, but I can get a full grip on this thing. So the blade to handle ratio isn't maximized, and it's done so by design because, again, he really likes the kind of user appeal and finish of it. So anyways, yeah, that's working well. Let's see, what else with the handles? No stainless steel lock insert to speak of. It's just a titanium interface, but no stick whatsoever. Readily disengages. Nice solid lockup. Again, things that are quite impressive for such a new or kind of a young knife maker. When I first got it, there was no lock stick. It did develop a tiny bit after I'd been playing with it for about an hour. I put a little bit of graphite on the tang of the blade where it hits the titanium, and then the lock stick went away and there was no more to speak of. So again, you know, I've had knives that have needed to break in for weeks at a time before the lock stick was gone, but this one just came that way. So he does carbonize the lock interface, which certainly would help. So anyways, I guess that's pretty much for the handles. You do have essentially what is kind of an oversized sculpted titanium clip here. Works really well. One of the benefits of a clip this long is that you have essentially this much space or distance that the knife would have to be pushed out of your pocket. So if you sit down, your wallet catches it, it might push it out like that far, but you know, you still haven't lost contact, whereas shorter clips, you lose contact more, I guess, in an easier way. So yeah, it has nice retention. On this one, again, the length of the clip gives it quite a bit of good spring, so it goes in and out of the pocket without any problems. But and then on the back here, it does have a shortened kind of back spacer. This is made out of brass, so this one will patina as you know your oils from your hands get on it. You can always clean the brass and goes back to that nice shiny gold, or you can let it patina and develop kind of that greenish bronze coloration. So anyhow, no protrusion there from the blade, no danger of catching that, but yeah, just kind of fun to play with, fun to flip. Again, the fit and finish is quite nice. So he does have a few different models. This is the Kane 3.25. He's probably best known for his Kane XL, which is a 3.35. or I'm sorry, 3.75-inch blade. He does also have one called the Ziggy, and then there's the Roach model as well. And all of the models of knives are named after friends he grew up with, so each name is certainly something special to him. So let's talk about Matt for a little bit now that we've gone over, I guess, the basics of the knife, and hopefully I've given you a good idea of what to expect should you purchase one, or if you go to a show and you get to handle one or handle a friend's. Those are the types of things to, I guess, you can expect from it. So Matt, by trade, is a sound engineer. Happily or unhappily, he actually kind of left work or lost his job a couple months back and decided to go full-time knife making. So if you're interested in his work, that's certainly good news. And he's out in his shop every day. He hails from sunny and now dry Southern California, and he's had the opportunity to kind of not necessarily train in a typical sense, but work with Matt Kuchara, who's helped him to kind of refine and improve his designs. But the reason he got into custom knife making a year and a half ago was because he became very interested in knives, having grown up, in the outdoors, always had a pocket knife since he was 8. But the lack of availability of custom knives kind of drove him to make his own, so he bought one of the Harbor Freight grinders, had a drill press, and he set to work, and he's accomplished a lot in a short period of time. So as I mentioned, functionality is his main focus, and he has achieved that certainly with this one. The materials he uses: S30V, hard type aesthetic, ceramic detent balls sometimes, and ceramic bearings. He does use the flat face detents, which is really nice. So I guess that's pretty much it as far as him and how he goes. Now, the way he does his books, it's going to be similar to someone like, say, Michael Gavick, or him as Gavco. He's essentially going to make what he wants and then put it up for sale. His Instagram is probably the best place to follow him, so I will put a link down below to his Instagram. But if he has something and he puts it up and it's for sale, you can essentially jump on it. This one I got through his email group. He just sent out an email, said it's available, and I jumped on this one too. So his prices as of, what are we in, July 2015? This one was, I think I paid $600 for it. So his prices aren't outlandish. They're kind of in line with being a new knife maker, but I think the quality surpasses that. So yeah, so I guess that's it for Matt, I suppose. But again, he wants to essentially be able to be creative and kind of make what he wants and then put it up for sale. And he's been quite fortunate thus far. Everything he's made is sold. And again, if there is some small tweak on the knife that you like, he might be willing to do that. But he wants to be able to be creative and, kind of do what he wants, explore, improve, and I think he's just going to get better from here. So if you're not following him, give him a follow. It'll be fun to watch him grow, especially since he started off so well. So, in other news, he does have, as I mentioned earlier, 2 collaborations with Kaiser upcoming. The first of which is the Kane XL, which is this behemoth here, a 3.75-inch blade and an even longer handle. I'll do a video on this one next, but I really wanted to start by taking a look at one of his custom offerings to help you guys get an idea of him and who he is. But to have 2 production knives coming out when he hasn't been making knives for that long is definitely an accomplishment, especially production knives of such high quality. So anyways, videos upcoming on this one soon, and then the Roach model, whenever he gets the prototype, I'm sure he'll hopefully be kind enough to send that one to me, and I can do a video on that one for you guys. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. I'm really happy with this one. I've really enjoyed using it and putting it through its paces. Yeah, comments, questions, please let me know. You can follow me on Instagram under Epic Snuggle Bunny. I'm also a co-host on the podcast The Modern Neanderthal, and I guess that's it. I'll see you guys soon. Hopefully I'll crank out some more videos in a faster pace coming up here. So thanks for watching. Take care.